Hey everybody, this is Lynna, and you're watching Lynna's Life. I wanted to talk to you guys about a certain situation that happened to me just yesterday. I commented on well, uh, on my Facebook page, and I talked about lots of personal things yesterday. Lots of things that were due to me about my mom, the conversation that I had with her, and the hurt that I felt in her comments. There was the when you do pass away, if you don't outlive us, we will seek to bury you as a man. And that was really hurtful. Um, and I totally understand and I get it when people talk about, oh, you have to understand that your mom is very religious and it goes up against everything that she stands for as a Christian. And I say, where's the love? You know, I mean, where's the love? I know she loves me. She always will. I know that. That's not the issue. The issue will she ever accept me? This woman is 81. I think it's a tall order. But the reason for my post right now, this little video, I hope it's not too long. I don't want it to be too wordy. But I was asked by an old friend. Actually, I was better friends with this woman's husband than I was with her, but she was sweet all the time, and she's super pretty. Her name is Mendy, and I met her husband back in 1994, 93. That was the first time that I ever moved to Nashville, or that I worked in Nashville. I worked for a Christian television network, and I was one of the 2 full-time camera operators. And I moved there. No, I didn't move there. I didn't live there. I traveled there for work, and it was, a project that we were working on where we would go across country and do these shows and stuff like that. It was like a Christian Tonight Show or something. It was called Praise the Lord, and the hosts would travel to different cities and stuff like that. And for a while we were going to Branson, and then they got this inkling to go interview country music stars and artists and stuff over in Nashville. Well, I met her husband there, and they knew me as Paul for years, from 93 to 99 when I left, and then I came back in 2009 after having lived in Minnesota for almost 10 years. from 2000 to 2009. And they knew me. They knew my family. Not that they were really close to my family, or that anyone was really close to me at all, but they saw as my family grew, they thought of me. They thought very highly of me. They thought that I was a great husband, dad, family guy, never did anything but be a good example. And that's how people at work doing sports television also thought of me. I had a really good reputation, you know. I was admired by a lot of people, and my extended family out in California, Florida, New York, I was like an heir to the patriarch throne of spiritual advisor, in the family. Um, this is all like not official, but it's just who I was, I mean, my faith has always been very personal to me and always been a matter of just having a relationship with the Lord. And I have, not read my Bible as much as I probably should have in the past, but I've always loved God, you know, and I'm not here to argue on the validity of, a supreme being and if it's true or not and all that. It's always been in my heart. I've been a worship leader at my church. I've been a great example, or people thought it was. Well, I've been talking about my life here since February, since January, when I first started doing YouTube videos. And I open up about myself very candidly, very openly, because I honestly think that other people need to know about what it's like to be on this journey, and honestly, like to try to help whoever I can along the way, because this is a terribly difficult thing to go through, and I would will it on no one, but after making a personal comment about my mom and how I didn't want to talk to her and blah, 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 Mindy writes, and yet you still think that all this pain and destruction is God's plan for you? And then I write in response and I say, and true to form, like a freaking dagger, comes the comment from Mindy Chelton. So now you have the gall to make such commentary when I am in the throes of something very, very difficult to walk through. I am so through with all of my old quote unquote friends. All that you guys do is dig the dagger in even deeper. You think that this is all something that can be avoided when you're in reality. It is the truth of who we are at our very core, when in reality. Okay, yeah, when my reality is that it's the truth, that's what I was trying to explain. Don't you get it? Are you not willing to try and understand this at all? Must you continue to think that this is something that I wanted for myself. I love my family. And I would never in a million years chosen this path for my life. But it is who I am. So I live and I don't die. But you and others will never get it. So she writes back, but you didn't answer my question. I really want to know if the life you're living now is truly the life that God has planned for you all along. I have watched every single video. That's unbelievable. But if you have, Mindy, wow, because there's been a lot. So this woman knows me because she's seen my videos, and if you've seen my videos, you've seen me. I have read every single post, every single one. Wow, you know me really well. I've listened as you've described the pain and horror your son, your wife, your mom, and sister are going through, and finally the pain and suffering you are going through. And then I ask myself, and I ask the question myself, God, is this all your divine plan? I personally messaged her later and said this. I said, my question to you is, why have you chosen to remain my friend? So many of you have left. In reference to all my old Christian friends, they've left. Is it because you have compassion on people who are going through what I am going through? It's possible, people. Or is it because you just find me to be quite the curiosity and you're just interested in some good dirt? I honestly can't answer those questions for you, and only you can. And I surely hope that you just watch or listen or whatever because you care about me and my family and what we're going through. I never would have chosen this path. And I don't believe that it was simply the enemies. In Christian circles, we believe the enemy, quote unquote, is the devil and spiritual forces in high places and wickedness and stuff. So that's what we call enemy. Enemy's plan for destroying my family, because my family will continue and we will survive and we will get through this. Maybe it defies all logic, I know, and reasoning for anybody who grew up the way we did. But nevertheless, God's grace is sufficient for me, Cheryl, and my children. She writes, I remain your friend because I care. I do care. There were times when I was crying with you, when your son was begging you to come home. But if you want me to be really honest, times I was so pissed at you, like hooking up with complete strangers. But nonetheless, I do have compassion for everyone, and everyone is capitalized, everyone involved. It does all come back to the kids for me, though. Don't be angry and take what I'm about to say the wrong way, but I hope Cheryl and the kids do move on. Maybe someday Cheryl will remarry and have the husband and a father for the kids that you yourself have admitted you never could be. I honestly respect her brutal honesty, and I wrote that, And I acknowledge that I've made lots of mistakes along the way. Uh, oh yeah, hooking up with strangers. Yeah, I'm guilty. I live with a guy who would have been um, described by Mindy as a complete stranger. I've lived in his apartment now for since late August, like since September actually. And he has not charged me a dime on rent at all. And you know what? We hit it off really well. And it never started off as a romantic endeavor, but we kind of fell in love. And I remember one night I'm sitting on the bed and he's out in the room. And I just thought to myself, I don't want to be alone. It wasn't about sex, it was just about being held as any woman would want to be. I just wanted to be held. There's nothing dirty about being held. So I was held that night. And yeah, eventually it led to more later. But I fell in love with the man. And for some, they might think that it was a gay relationship. But Tony and I know that it wasn't and isn't. Isn't is present tense. I mean, we've been broken up now for 3 weeks or so. But we're still awesome friends. And although I pay rent here now to stay, just to stave off the awkwardness, he loves me. And he has a friend for life, and he knows it. And I know that. I have a friend in him as well. James came into my life in May of this year. I was not moved yet. Hadn't really decided what I was going to do with my life. I knew something was going to have to give because I was running out of work. So I was on a dating site. You know, I do it for approval and validation sometimes. Well, not sometimes. I've done it this way for quite some time. And I met Alban James Straub on May 8th, 2013 online. And he responded to me. I had pictures up, nothing lewd, just pictures of me. And he responded and said something very nice and said, "Oh, you're beautiful, blah blah blah," you know. And I responded to him and I said, "Oh, I just want you to know that I'm transgender." And he says, "I only see a woman." At that point, we hit it off really well. And we I better wind down this one video. I'll start up later, but this is a part 1 of a part 2 entitled oh gosh, I'll figure it out. Anyway, see you guys in a little bit. Bye.